All praise, glory, and most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the house of faith. I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before the priest word of God, and if they'll count it as a light thing to do so. Today I want to deal with a question that this sister Shante had about modest apparel. And give me a second to read it. It says, can you do a video on what modest apparel is for women and men? I've heard that it's a sin to wear animal print, mesh, lingerie, and women's pants. Is that true? I've also heard that men are supposed to show their arms. Okay. I don't know if I said heard or read, but she wrote heard. I just want to make sure I'm clear. I've also heard that men aren't supposed to show their arms. Okay. So I'm gonna answer that question. It just came to me. I meant to do something. Deal with something with lesson. I did answer a question concerning women preaching, and I instructed those who were moderating the page to erase the question. And the reason I did that, because that if you were looking on that might have been like, why did you do that? And the reason I did that was because I've already addressed that exact same question. They kept asking this question, ultimately trying to get some kind of way where women can have some partake in teaching. And that's not the case. So when he asked that question, I addressed it more than once. And then you asked the same exact question again. I've already told you twice. So when it came up again, that's why I did it. And if you were looking, you just happen to be looking, you're like, oh man, why he do that? He tripping. Even somebody said who didn't know, that seemed like a harmless question. Well, actually, things are not harmless. There are agendas. And that's why I diligently moderate and I contemplate why people, and I look at why people are asking questions in the questions that they're asking, because a lot of times they're not really asking a question. They have a hidden agenda. And at that agenda, you keep asking about a woman teaching. You want women to teach, but the Bible don't say that. So I wanted to, I just want to, if you heard that and you were listening during question and answer period of the Sabbath lesson, that's why I did that. You're asking the exact same question I've already addressed. No, I've already addressed it twice. You can go somewhere with that. All right, so let me read this sister question again. This is a different question that I'm dealing with in this lesson. She says, can you do a video on what modest apparel is for women and men? I've heard that it's a sin to wear animal print, mesh, lingerie, and women's pants. Is that true? I've also heard that men are supposed to show their arms. Okay. So before I do that, and I just again, reading the question, I want to be sure I know. Forgive me, I'm not up on certain things. I just want to make sure I know what mesh is. I think I have an idea, but let me look that up or somebody could actually that's listening could define it. If I define it, is that like kind of like, is that see-through? Is that netted? I thought that's what that was. Anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna waste time doing that. Just let me get to the meat of it. Okay, so modesty, the Bible does talk about modesty. Okay, so modesty can be interpreted in a couple of ways. Modesty is free from vanity, right? Or boastfulness, but it's simplicity, right? And it's also can be referring to decency, okay, in regard to like appropriateness and not sexual. And oftentimes you're talking about dress, and when a woman, that's what it's talking about. And what you wear ultimately says something about your character and who you are. I'm gonna say that again. What you wear says something about your character and who you are, or even what you do. For example, let's go to Genesis. We're gonna pick it up in Genesis, the 38th chapter. Genesis, the 38th chapter. And this here is Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, who was married to one of her sons. And I'm not really going to get into the account, but it deals with the Levirate law and how one of her sons was killed because he was wicked. The Lord took him out, and he was supposed to give his other son unto her, right? But let's just read. This is Genesis, the 38th chapter, the 14th verse. And I'm here because it shows you like what you wear says something about who you are or even what you do. This is Genesis, the 38th chapter, verse 14. It says, and she, talking about Tamar, but let's pick it up in 13 so we know. And it was told Tamar, saying, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her and covered her with a veil and wrapped herself and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown and she was not given unto him to wife. Okay, so now again, that's what said. She was supposed to get him as a husband. But prior to that, what did she have on? She had on widow's garments, showing that she was a widow, garments showing that she was in mourning. Hold your finger here before we go back. Just back here. Let me just give me one moment. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Just give me one moment, please. Yeah, let's just keep here. I'm gonna go to a place after this in Proverbs. But it says, so now in one moment she had on widow's garments. Then it says, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot because she had covered her face. Wow, that's like, I always give this example in Carnival. Historically, they would wear masks. Why would they wear masks? Because they were having illicit sexual relationships, and therefore masks gave them anonymity. In the ancient world, sometimes these veils will give women anonymity. It wasn't just about covering up. So now that garment, so one hand she had on something that indicated that she was a widow. Just like you can wear something, you will see women of the who are Muslim, they will wear things that will show you that they practice Islam, that they are Muslims, right? You could see somebody wearing something. You could see a police officer in a uniform, and you can come to the conclusion, or you can conclude that he or she is a police officer. You see somebody in a military uniform, they're in the military, right? So what you wear can indicate what you are. Here we see it says, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot because she had covered her face. What's a harlot? A harlot is a prostitute. So now back then, there was an attire of a prostitute. It's an attire of a prostitute today. What's the attire of a prostitute? When you see a woman walking up and down the street, scantily clothed and high heels, mini skirts, if you see that, and she's walking in the middle of the street, that's you might conclude that that's a prostitute. It was a place right where I used to live at, not too far from that. It was a track. It was right by cleaners. And what was there? It was a place of prostitution, open prostitution. So I remember clearly one day driving past, and there was a pimp, and he was in a luxury vehicle, It wasn't a I can't think of what kind it was, but it was a luxury. It was a very expensive vehicle, and he was reprimanded. I'm a kid. I'm a teenager, but I'm just driving. I'm able to drive. I'm driving past, and he had two prostitutes who were dressed like prostitutes, and their heads were down to the ground. And he was reprimanding them, I assume, over not getting his money or whatever. I don't know. I kept driving, but there was a known track, and there were prostitutes there constantly, male and female prostitutes. And what did they do? They dressed a certain way. Okay, they dressed a certain way. So here you see the example. So now the question should be, what if you could dress like a prostitute? Can you dress like a prostitute and not be one? Absolutely. Well, I just want to pick it up, show you another example. Let's go to Proverbs, the 7th chapter. See, you could dress like a prostitute and not be a prostitute. That's not modest. Okay. Proverbs, the 7th chapter and verse 10. Because if you say what the Bible's telling you, and here it says, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now was she without or outside, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. That's what they do. Some of them say, well, some of them cargo, yeah, some of them cargo, high class, it's still prostitution. And they're dressing a certain way. They're not dressing in modesty. They're not dressing with their head covered and their and a long skirt on and their body covered. They're not dressing like that. So this, I don't know, Alex, are you a male or a female? I'm curious if I'm missing something. Because Alex says, hey, brother, peace. Lately, I've been curious of me dressing nicely and well kept and smelling good to Sabbath class offends my brothers. I'm not assuming anyone is jealous of me. Curious of me dressing nice. So there's nothing wrong with dressing nicely. The reason I ask is I'm not trying to offend you and asking are you male or female, because sometimes Alex, sometimes that could be a male or female. Some men are into video games and some are into sports. I'm into dressing nice. Okay, so I assume you're a man. There's nothing wrong with you. Can you please tell me if you're a man or not? I just want to know if you're a man or not. Because it's really, I don't know how much help you need. If you dress nicely, okay, what's wrong with dressing nicely? I'm a male. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Because even the sister asked about male and female. The Bible doesn't really address males per se as far as modesty and dress. And the reason it doesn't is, quite frankly, I mean, if you logically think about the anatomy of women, see, women don't have to, it could get real sexually appealing very easily for women, more so than men, because of the sheer anatomy of a woman. Now, if you go to a place, you might go to a place, a synagogue or a place, a church or whatever, and they have dress codes for men. Put your pants up. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Pull your pants up, no tight clothes. Yeah, I understand that. At the same time, what you don't want to do is dress sexually appealing to anybody. You don't want to do that. But that's more so for women. And the problem today, one of the problems is people are trying to act like men and women are equal in that regard, and they're simply not. And another problem is people are saying, like you hear a lot of women say, I'm dressing that way for me. You're dressing that way, it's not because you're comfortable. You say, well, it's hot, I need to take off all my clothes. No, because around where I'm at, I see it as soon as it gets to spring, it gets 60 degrees, everybody taking their clothes off. So they're not doing that because they're hot. They're not doing that because they're hot. Rather, they're doing it to attract attention. And attracting attention, you say it's for you, but it actually is because you want validation. You want validation through the sexual attraction of people. And then the flip side of that is if it's from somebody you don't want it from, then it's harassment. Right? You don't want you only want certain people to talk to you, to validate you. So that dressing, talking about I'm doing this for me, that ain't about you per se. It's about the attention that you get. That's what it's about. So yeah, this lesson is about necessarily dressing nice. You can dress nicely and modestly at the same time. They are not antithetical. But what you don't want to do is dress like a whore or a prostitute or a harlot or a promiscuous woman, which is what many people are doing. You even see young girls try to buy clothes for your young daughter today. They're dressing the young girls like that. And it's so bad that people don't even know that they're dressing immodestly, because they don't even have examples of modest dress for the most part. It's real bad. But let's go to 1 Peter. Let me just go revisit her question, make sure I'm answering every part of it. You say you hope you're not causing any woman to lust. I mean, if you say you dress nicely, I mean, what are you talking about? Let me say this: there's nothing wrong with smelling good. Everybody in there need to be smelling good. everybody need to smell good. That's yeah. What? Yeah, you should be clean. You should be neat. That's fine. Yeah, you. And then too, even if a woman is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it. All right, if I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, I don't know what kind of compliments you get. I don't know. I'm not there, but this ain't even. That's another thing and I don't know. Again, I don't know the context of what's happening, but even women and how they're approaching men shouldn't be doing that. See, certain things are not even appropriate. See, we've gone so far from what's appropriate. Why are you going up to some man and talking about what he looked like? That's not. But everything's out of pocket today, and the roles and the interactions are backward today. But yeah, I mean, you ain't in there like cameo with your crotch out. I'm talking about ow. I mean, if that's word up, like if you ain't in there doing that, I don't understand. Or you trying to you wear tight muscle shirts from the late 90s. I mean, yeah, there's nothing. I mean, if you wearing nice things, again, you can have very nice things and I'm talking about for women and be modest at the same time. See, it'll look nice and you can be attracted. That being attracted is not the issue. Being attracted is not the issue. The issue is dressing in a sexual way. That's the problem. Now, this is 1 Peter 3 and verse. I'll pick it up at verse 1, because here Peter tells them how women should dress. Okay. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, okay, man. I got it. You dress nice. You get some compliments on your clothes. Again, that's not really the issue here that I'm addressing. But that's not flamboyant. That's like sexual. That's what I'm saying. You mixing the two things up. Let's see. You're mixing the two things up. I'm not talking about being flamboyant, even though that is part of modesty. It's very hard to get modest clothes for young sisters. Even now, see, one problem that they are having with the young men. Okay, then cool, you good then, man. One thing that they are doing with the young men, with young women, they giving the young girls, they giving them sexually provocative clothing and giving the boys clothing that's feminine. They look feminine. All right, man, that's enough, man. That's enough. Yeah, it's like, and that could be a problem. Let me read this here. 1 Peter 3. Before anybody type anything else. 1 Peter 3 and verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Then it says something, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. So it's talking about how the wives the husband should observe the wives as chaste. That's like pure, righteous, and it says conversation, their righteous living, their manner of living, their conduct coupled with fear. Talking about a godly fear. It says, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel. See, so that's another thing about modesty. Modesty also could be you trying to get attention, right? You're wearing certain things to get all the attention because you need, again, validation. He's telling you that should not be your concern. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. That's what you should wear. It says, but let it be of the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. See, that's what he's looking at. He's looking at the heart. You understand? That's what he's looking at. See, and a lot of times we think that it's about what you look like on the outside, and that's where you mess up. Give me a second. See what you need. And again, let's go back to Proverbs, the 11th chapter. You could be beautiful or look good or attractive or whatever you want to say, but that's not. Matter of fact, let's go to before we go to Proverbs, let's go to let's see. Let's go to 1 Samuel. Because he told you in 1 Peter what the Lord is looking at, right? He's looking at your character. That's what he's looking at. But that's not what most people are concerned with. And oftentimes you will see, it's unfortunate, you will see somebody, you may see a young lady who's a child and they've been told that they've been beautiful since they were a child or look good. Oh, you so cute, you're a child. And they have been treated differently in American society or anywhere for that matter because of that. And what oftentimes they will stop developing. Or they will use that. But that's not, he said what was a great price. He said, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. That's what value is. That's what's rare. We're gonna get into that more, but let's look at 1 Samuel. And I just want to show you how you could be looking at something, you know, how we look on the outward. That's man has a propensity to do that. But the Lord is looking at, the Most High looking at something else. Now here we have Samuel going to anoint one of the sons of Jesse. And when he saw one of them, he saw Eliab. He thought that was the one. Why? Just based on what he looked like. So it says in verse 6, and it came to pass. I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm in 1 Samuel 16 and 6. It says, and it came to pass when they would come, because he called Jesse's sons to the sacrifice, right? So he going to anoint one of them. And it said, and it came to pass when they would come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. He looked at him because of how he looked on the outs. He looked like a king, right? But then it says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. See, it's about your character. It's not about how you look. It's not about how you look. Because ultimately, let's go to Proverbs the 11th chapter. It's not about how you look. See, you could be a woman that looks good, right? But how you carry yourself and what you wear says a lot about you. And it's more. Here we hear another example. This is Proverbs the 11th chapter, verse 22. It says, as a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. So just like a swine or a pig, an earring in a pig's snout, that doesn't go together. So it is if you call yourself somebody who's fair or is nice looking and they don't have discretion. See, that's not good. It's all about your character. Even your looks, that's gonna go away. You put all your stock in that. You need to be putting your stock in developing your character. And at the same, that's not saying, okay, I'm gonna develop my character, so I'm not gonna wash up. I'm not gonna take a shower. I'm not gonna try to look nice. That's not it. No, you should look nice. You should carry yourself in a certain way, and you should be modest. The Proverbs, the 31st chapter, and the 10th verse, he said, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? See, that's the thing people can't find. Men can't find it. You can find women who people call beautiful, who people think are attractive, who look nice, who are pleasing to the eye. They all over, and they come a dime a dozen. And especially with all the things that they use today to enhance someone's appearance. You don't know who you're looking at. Was it one case? I don't believe that was in the United States. I forget what country it was. A man sued the woman because she was wearing makeup. She looked like a different person. Then she took the makeup off. He said he sued her because she was unattractive. It's like he didn't know what the woman looked like. But to him, she was attractive. I've seen those you see these people who you see them and they have on makeup. And they take the makeup off and they look like a whole different person. You can't even recognize the person. So now that's but he said who could find a virtuous woman. He didn't say who could find a dime piece. He didn't say who could find a 10. He didn't say who could find, he didn't say any of that. He said who could find a virtuous woman, a woman who has upright moral character. A God-fearing woman. That's what's rare. That's what's actually rare. That's not, because you find people women that are coming into the truth. They don't even understand what modesty is. They still dressing like they're in the world, and they don't see no problem with it. So again, he said, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. Then it talks about all her attributes and what she has to offer. And it's not talking about how she looked. Even, let's go to let's pick it up in verse 25 to see what she's clothed with. Verse 25 says, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in the time to come. See, that's what she had. Then it says something. This is key. This is one of my pet peeves. One of my things is, don't embarrass me. talking crazy. It says she opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of our household and eateth not the bread of idleness. She's not lazy. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. So now, and then it talks about all these other things, but it didn't talk about how good she looked. It didn't say that. Then it says something, because I'm telling you, people don't understand what's important. Then it says in verse 30, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. It's deceitful and beauty is vain. It ain't what you think it is. Then it said beauty is vain because it's fleeting. You talk about you talk about somebody beautiful. Look at them sometimes in 10 years or 20 years, they're not gonna look the same. They're not gonna look the same. I was telling a story of this. I did an internship years ago for a newspaper, and it was on a small newspaper, black owned, and it was an elderly lady in there. She was talking about how she dated the heavyweight champion of the world. And I was like, not the greatest. I know. I said no. I didn't say no. But she used to tell me these stories. I was sitting there, and I was just listening to her. And in my head, I'm thinking, ain't no way in the world you dated the greatest. You didn't do it. I said maybe she's senile or something. I knew she was. I said she ain't senile, but maybe I don't know. But just looking at her, because you thinking in your head, you thinking of what he was known for, and the women he married, and all the women loved Muhammad Ali. Many women did. But then you see, you compare her picture to her youth, what she looked like, and then what you was looking at that time, they don't even look like the same person. And you look at the picture of her youth with him, you'll say, oh, maybe they did date. They certainly knew each other. So now that's what I'm saying. Like, that goes away. That the crow's feet are awake, all these things happen. So that's gonna happen. But your character, your self-development, even your intellect, these are the things that you need to put your stock in. And somebody who has an ounce of sense will recognize that. But if you're if you're a woman, in particular, this is particularly for women, if you're dressing in a way that is immodest, you're gonna get what you attract. Because a righteous man he might be attracted to that in the sense of, like, any man can be attracted to something, but he won't even talk to you. He's like, yeah, you might look a certain way, but look at how you dressed. But we're in such a sexually liberated time today that's looked upon. How dare you judge me? Or that's even called slut shaming. You ought to be ashamed if you're dressed like a harlot. That's how crazy it is. You ought to be ashamed. Yeah, if a righteous man, his mindset, his spirit mindset, that's not what you want. Because that's nothing but trouble. So, and then when you dress like that and you attract how you dress, don't get upset. You drew that to yourself. You drew that to yourself. That's what you put out into the world. That I don't have morals. And then you can say, man, I'm a righteous woman, but that don't go with what you have on. At all. I want to read the rest of this question. I don't want to lose. So I want to make sure I'm answering her various parts of the question. She said, I've heard that it's a sin for women. I've heard that it's a sin to wear animal print, mesh, lingerie, and women's pants. Okay. So now certain parts of your body should be covered up. Now, first of all, the Bible don't speak about animal prints, that you wearing animal prints. I've heard somebody say that, and that's not. No, but let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter. because I believe mesh is the mesh, like, you know, like you could see through. You, again, you shouldn't be dressing in a way that is sexually provocative in any way. 1 Corinthians, and like the sister said, she said, where is it at? Sister said she was thankful for Amazon, being able to buy things on Amazon.com. Yeah, because you can't buy it in the mall. You can't buy it in most of the stores. They don't even sell dresses. You don't even see women wearing skirts and dresses. But there's certain parts of your body that need to be covered up. And dresses and skirts are the best way. And again, you talking about, I'm wearing a skirt, but it's halfway down your thigh. You showing off your legs. That's not modesty. If you can sit down, they can see all up in your thighs. If you sit down and they can see all in your cleavage, that's a problem. If you sit down and the stitching and the thread is clean, it's so tight, that's a problem. 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter and verse 22. It says, nay, much more, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but God hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacks. When he's talking about it in a natural sense, he starts talking about how Paul starts talking about it's certain parts of your body you take more you take more effort to cover up. See, it's not if me showing my wrist, that's not an issue, right? If I have my wrist out doing like this, sometimes I wear dress shirts every day for work, and I roll up my sleeve. But what you're not gonna see me do is pull out my pants and take out my butt. That's not gonna happen. Why? Because I'm making sure of that. It's like you ever seen them? You ever been in a situation where somebody split their pants in the back? Oh no! Now they had a hole in their shirt. A man had a hole in his shirt. He's like, man, I got a hole in my shirt. I got a hole right here. Oh man, I got a hole. You split the back of your pants, it's a whole different issue. Why? Because that's your butt. That's a part of your body that need to be covered up. Hey, man. Hey, what's wrong, man? Hey. Don't let the dog out of the house. Don't let the dog out of your house. What are you talking about? Hey. Zip up your pants. Oh, man, I got my pants up. You walked out of the bathroom, didn't even know. That's different. It's certain parts. But women, just because of that anatomy, just because that shit shaped, there's certain things they got to cover up. They got to cover up. And you know yourself, if you are shaped in a certain type of way, you have to take even more effort to cover up yourself. Not more effort or more effort to show it off. Because then when you're showing that off, what are you doing? You're telling the world, this is what I have to offer. Breast, legs, and thighs. What we at? Popeyes? We at, you see the trifling behavior you see up in there? Right? You offering breast, legs, and thighs too. Your apparel doesn't say I have a mind. See, when you are covered as a woman, it shows, number one, that you have self-respect. So now, out of the pool of men, a man looking at this woman is saying she has self-respect. Okay, I can't come at her any kind of way. You gonna knock out a whole lot of men that ain't even gonna come at you, and they gonna deal with your mind. They gonna deal with how you behave, how you care. You want them to deal with you, not coming at you because they want sex. Because that's not what you want. Also, that's again you gonna attract what you put out. Again, a righteous man would say, hey, wait a minute, this sister here, you talk about sticking out. Yeah, you're going to stick out if you dress inappropriately, but for all the wrong reasons. But if you in the world today where you a woman that has some sense and you dress in a modest way, you'll stick out in that way too. Men who looking looking for promiscuous women will sometimes give you respect. They might open the door for you. Why? Because they say you ain't one of these whores women. I'm not saying you need to deal with him. What I'm saying is you're gonna get treated differently in a lot of different cases. It's also protection, which you need protection out here. Matter of fact, just on a side note, women in particular we need to do something as far as see, y'all really, what you seeing going on today is a travesty. All these women ended up missing. I'm not saying that's totally because of what they're dressed like. What I'm saying is, it's a certain way you have to carry yourself. You have to protect yourself. You shouldn't be all out necessarily by yourself in certain places. Because it's a lot of predators out here. A lot of people being kidnapped. A lot of people you ain't hearing being sex trafficked. All kinds of things happen. This is a perverted world we live in. This is a hypersexualized society we live in. Everything you look at is sex, 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 sex. They using sex to sell burgers. Using sex to sell mint gum. Using sex to sell cars. Using sex to sell all types of clothing. So now, if that's the case, you need to understand what society that you're in. And that's part of your protection. It's showing what kind of person you are. It's for your benefit. Certain parts of your body you got to cover up. Now, just to get to the other part, because the sister said something about lingerie and women's pants. Is that true? Now, let's go to Deuteronomy. Because the Bible don't say thou shalt not wear lingerie, but understand first of all, certain body parts, if you think about a man and a woman, if it's your husband, that's a whole different thing. That's not even what the issue is, because it's gonna time you ain't gonna have no clothes on just to be. I'm not trying to be crude. I'm just saying that's how these kids get here. But yeah, if you're like, I give you an example. I'm always amazed now. You didn't think of it growing up when you go to the store and see pictures, but now you see huge pictures in a store. I used to walk in Sears, and you will see first when you walk in, it's the women's section, and then you'll see these huge posters. They had them in Kmart too. I guess Sears and Kmart was almost one and the same, linked up. Sees huge, big, massive posters of women in panties and brassieres like that. That's like, or bras. That's like, when you really think about it, that's crazy. That's crazy. But that's just what it is today. That's just what again, we live in a time where they got slut walks every year. That just shows you the moral decay of a society. But now the sister asks about pants. This is Deuteronomy 22 and verse 3. It says, verse 5. Deuteronomy 22 and 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. So a man, okay, and it says again, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. So you shouldn't, as a man or as a woman, you shouldn't be putting on the clothes of a man. And as a man, you shouldn't be putting on the clothes of a woman. You see that consistently. You look around, you see a woman, you think it's a man. She got on Timberlands. She got on men's clothes. She got a breast tape down. She got on big baggy shirt. She got a hat cocked to the left, gold chain, gold teeth. No, know what I'm saying? No, I don't know what you're saying. She pimping harder than you. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, what's this about? You see men dressed as women. That shouldn't be. So ultimately, that's what the Bible's talking about. When you dressing in a way that you trying to look like a man, you dressing like a way like you trying to look like a woman. But I would say in regard to modesty, the way to be modest is for a woman to wear that dress or that skirt. It is what it is. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Because who's supposed to be teaching this? The woman to dress. Let me make sure I answer the rest of the question. Yeah, he said a man's not supposed to show his arms. The Bible don't say that, but let me say this. It's just not even the same with men. It's just not. Because a man don't even have the anatomy for that. You know, you can say, oh, the person has nice arms. But even with that, you got to think about what you're doing that for. You doing that to get attention? 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, verse 9. Or actually, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I meant to go to Titus, but I might want to read this too. He says how women should dress. I'm going to just add this in here, then we're going to go to Titus. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. See, he's talking about being modest. That's how you should dress. And it really, you know, if the Spirit of God dwells in you, that don't go with the attire of a harlot, brothers and sisters. I love the Lord. I'm serving him, but you what you got on? Titus, the 2nd chapter, and verse 2, it says that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith and charity and patience. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming. So who's supposed to teach the women what they're supposed to be doing? The aged women. That means the elderly women, those who have some experience, who've been here a little while. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, or being sanctified, not false accusers, not giving them much wine, teachers of good things. So they can't be a drunk. They need to be sanctified, of good behavior. And it says that they may teach the young women to be sober. That means sober-minded, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, right? Chaste, keepers at home, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. So now, again, you discreet, you chaste. How you discreet and chaste, and you got a halter top on with your hairy little navel out and a mini skirt? That don't go together. That doesn't go together. You need to cover yourselves, and this applies more so to women. So when you talking about, you said, you know, what you can wear or do something about modesty. I mean, the Bible is pretty clear on that, but a lot of it applies to the sisters because, quite frankly, they had a more chance to be immodest just because of their shit anatomy. And that, what you're showing, is for your husband. It ain't even, I don't even understand how men, you know, some men, they their wives dress like, it's like, do you not see? And then even when you think about going back to this, before I get there, what I was reading about the women that are older, they dressing crazy. They dressing talking about, I still got it. You need to stop. You supposed to have some wisdom. So, you know, it's just, yeah, that's just what time it is, unfortunately. But then you even seeing it amongst believers. And then see that sexual dress oftentimes goes with a particular behavior. Okay. And yeah, you even see men and their wives, they dress crazy or sexually. No, that's in private. Cover and protect yourself with mace, spray, taser, gun when going out. Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like, man, you have to. People need to know where you're going. If you're going somewhere, you really don't need to even be going by yourself if you can help it. I mean, that's just, it's unfortunate, especially at night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Or it's going to these clubs. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know, man. It's just not a safe time for. Yeah, you definitely need to protect yourself. It's a dangerous time. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you we're at the Household of Faith, and every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. Shoot, you talking about some mace. I don't know where y'all live, but shoot, you live in a concealed carry state. Hey, you want to protect yourself, especially women. Yeah, you definitely want to protect yourself. Get up all these women, these black women, because one thing about it is the sisters go missing and nobody, these authorities not gonna find you. You're not even a priority. Can you see my teenage daughter? That's crazy to me when you see, number one, how teenage women are dressing and females are dressing, and number two, when you see them walking by themselves on the side of the street. That's just insane to me, considering what's going on right now. So, just got to be careful out here. It is not a good time. With that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you are edified.